Hi, my name's Philip Gilpin Jr., and I am the Executive Director of ITVFest, the Independent Television Festival. What ITVFest does is very simple. If you've created the next great film, you take it to Sundance to have it seen and bought by the major studios. What if you've made the next great television series? Sundance doesn't have a television category, neither does Tribeca. Toronto Film Festival is attempting to start one. What you do with your television series is you come to ITVFest. We are one of only 3 television festivals in the country, and in fact, we are the only one in the world that focuses solely on independently produced television series. 2 weeks ago in Dover, we held the 11th annual ITVFest. We had over 500 submissions from 23 countries around the world. Those submissions include new content creators and known television and film stars. Everybody wants to make a television series, but not everybody has the access to the industry. The first 7 ITVFests were all in Los Angeles. I took it over in 2013 after working at HBO for 4 years, and I moved it to Vermont when I came to visit my family and thought this is a really amazing place. Why Vermont? Because of the community and the access. 2 weeks ago in Dover, I saw the one and only Vice President of Talent from HBO sitting under a maple tree, talking with the people that won the Best Television Drama category. You cannot get that access in a major city. Multiply that out by the fact that she was one of over 70 top-level television industry executives, including agents and producers and network people, and it was an unbelievable week for 1,000 artists to come and show their television shows and make those connections and take the next step in their career. So that's what we do now. I'm here to talk about what we do next. After a few years at Sundance, they had more films than the studios could buy. We're now entering our 12th year, and we have more television shows than the networks can handle. So a lot of the artists are putting them out on YouTube or Vimeo or other platforms, or they're keeping them to themselves because they don't want their ideas to be stolen. The few shows that have come through ITVFest that have gone the YouTube route have collected over 50 million views. We already have a built-in international worldwide audience. So after a few years, Sundance made the Sundance Channel. You have it on your cable TV. You can go home and watch that on DirecTV right now. Where do you go to watch all the new television pilots that we just screened? You can't. That's where the world's first independent television network, the ITVFest network, is to be created. We'll have all types of categories: comedy TV, drama TV. The web that you see, that's for more of the short form content that you're used to watching online. There are currently no professionally and publicly curated independent television markets in the world. Netflix and Hulu, those are studio and network shows. Those have millions of dollars behind them. YouTube and Facebook, couple indie TV shows, but it's definitely not curated. You can watch a cat video, and then you can watch the world's best TV show that just won this award last week. Sundance and IFC, films, not TV. This is our position within the industry. Believe it or not, in the golden age of television, the independent television pipeline has not been created yet outside of the work that we do. One of the winners from the festival a couple weeks ago, we set up with the meeting that they're having with HBO next week. They have a couple more agents and people that we've been able to move their careers along. We are that pipeline. If you have a show, we're your answer. Our board of directors, our sponsors, our partners, we've managed to raise over $500,000 the last 3 years to hold these festivals in Dover. Sponsorships come from across the world and from across the industry. This is our business model for the network. We're seeking a $2.5 million investment to acquire the rights to all of the shows that have come through the network and to build the platform to distribute it throughout the US. The revenue models, they vary. You can, as an audience member, you can buy a subscription like you do for Netflix without ads, or you could go the Hulu model and decide to watch it for free, and we'll run some ads against the content. The third option is the IP sales. We have some networks that want to buy some of the shows that come through the festival. We would retain a piece of that if those shows go through the network. The exit strategy for something like this, Sundance did this. And 10 years after they launched the Sundance Channel, they sold it for $500 million. As soon as we aggregate all of the world's best independent television content, one of the majors will quickly come and buy us. In fact, I got a call yesterday from an agent that was at the festival who I didn't get to talk with there, but he said he has a deal with Amazon. Amazon wants us to create our own channel on the Amazon Studios platform that they have online. I said, why would we give them all of our content when we can do this better than them because we're the only ones who know all the artists and who work with them directly? Why are we going to go for a 55-45 split when we can do this ourselves instead? We already have the audience, we already have the eyeballs, and my goal and my mission is to finally create a platform for the world's best independent storytellers to get their stories heard. I am sick and tired of being one of the few people that gets to see all the content that I wish all of you could see, because it is amazing what is out there. But the networks can't handle the volume. The Vermont effect for this, we've generated millions of dollars of economic activity for Dover itself. And as this continues to grow, the influencers and the marketers and the actors, writers, and directors that are involved with the shows have a marketing reach that Vermont currently just cannot match. I live in the town where Mount Snow is. Their total social media reach is about 100,000 people. One of the people we had on one of our panels has a social media reach north of 2.2 million. And she live streamed the panel she was on and had 30,000 people from around the world watching us in a tent on the lawn in Dover, Vermont. This is a way for Vermont to reinvent itself, but not really. Because before I moved here, the words independent and artist in Vermont always fit in my mind. I think this is a way for the arts to take control of a large piece of the Vermont economy. A little bit about me. I had a physics and math degree from BC. I worked at HBO as a business affairs analyst there for years, working on the contracts for the shows that a lot of you have probably watched. We do have investors right now. That's why they were at the festival. I can't announce them publicly, but if anybody's interested to know who they are and the amount that they're looking to put in, you would not be the first ones in. Thank you very much.
Bob.
Excuse me, if I didn't understand this right. So you have this festival, all the independent TV show developers want to be there. But how does that translate to you having control of the content? Or you just have sort of first look at the content that you're going to put on this TV network?
Yeah.
Clarify that a little.
Sure. So the way the festival works, the festival itself is a 501c3 nonprofit that's been in existence for over a decade. We get the shows submitted to us from around the world, and we curate them through our panel of judges. We pick, this year out of the 500, we picked about 70. So we have first look access to all of these shows. Currently, they come to the festival, and what we're doing is I'm matching them up with HBO, I'm matching them up with AMC, I'm matching them up with FX. We currently don't retain rights because the festival itself is a nonprofit. What we would do with the channel is follow the same model that Sundance does, which is they have a for-profit channel model. And what the investment from that channel would do is we would actually, at the end of the festival, acquire the rights to all of those shows that we just screened before the networks, agencies, and studios can purchase them. So we would take them, put them on the network, and if somebody wants to buy it, they would buy it from us. Or it would go on the network, and we would end up generating eyeballs that way.
So, excuse me, so that presumes that all those independent developers would like that idea of you stepping between them and HBO or Netflix or
Right.
whatever. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a great question, and the reason for that is time. HBO and the major networks only take a couple dozen series to air every year. What about the other 200 series that we have access to that didn't get picked up? Where do they go in the meantime? That's why it's the same thing for film. All the films that go through Sundance, where do they go if they don't get bought right away? They go on. A lot of them go onto the Sundance channel.
Those are the 240 that the other HBO and all the guys who didn't think were good enough to put on.
No, it's the fact that there's too many.
Okay, that's
Yeah, the volume is too much for the current existing TV networks to handle.
Kyle?
I've got a relatively naive question.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little about the financial mechanics of you either representing or owning portions of these shows and then broadcasting them through the advertising model versus the subscription model, and how that all nets out for these independent film producers, and why that becomes sustainably attractive for them to continue to give you content?
Yeah, so our goal with ITVFest is to promote the best storytellers that are out there. We're not there to take their content, make money, and then leave them with nothing. They become partners in the network. And the way that the network would generate its revenue is, let's say you don't want to watch ads, so you pay a monthly subscription fee. Right now, we're going to be asking for about $1 a month. Or if you don't want to pay the subscription fee, we have advertisers that sell against every view, very similar to the models that are already out there. The revenues that come in they are used to go back to the filmmakers and say, great, you've made the first 6 episodes of your series and you've got 1 million people that want to see 6 more episodes. Here's the money, go make the 6. And then let's say that goes a season or 2, and all of a sudden it starts garnering a major following. That IP becomes more and more valuable, and at that point we'll have the option to sell to a network, or the artist can choose to keep it with us and just keep generating, keep growing, and keep building.
Chuck?
If you were to go back to Amazon, what terms would you like them to make a deal with?
Terms that I already know are not acceptable to them because they won't.
What would be acceptable to you?
The split would have to be somewhere north of 80-20. Right now it's at 55-45, and the reason that we would require an 80-20 is it's expensive to continue producing episodes of television series. So with the current Amazon model and the current YouTube model, and you've seen this borne out over the last decade, people can't make enough money off of millions of views on a YouTube show to turn around and continue to make a high-quality series for years on end. The current big players aren't giving the artists enough money to continue their project.
Would it be good to see plots on there?
Sorry?
The pilots, would it be good to see pilots on Amazon?
A single pilot doesn't make a series. And that is the biggest difference between television and film. A film, you're done, you sell it, it's like a widget. You've created the widget, you sell it, you move on. Television, some of these shows, they can take half a year or a year to get through the entire first episode, through the entire first season. So they need somebody who's a partner that works with them that isn't just, oh, we put up your pilot, it didn't do that well, we're done, thank you, here's your $20,000 check for the 2 years of your life that you spent making this television show. By putting all of these shows together on one platform, I mean, YouTube Red is attempting to do this. They're just not doing it very well because their goal is on working with big stars, whereas our goal is on the high quality of the independent content that's already out there. We've approached Amazon. We've approached YouTube Red. We've gotten word to Netflix. We are having these conversations with these big guys. They're not built to handle this kind of volume.
Savon?
It's really you're looking at an online presence, at least for this phase. Are you also trying to do a more traditional TV channel, or is that not something that's going to do?
Yeah, I think we want to start with streaming just because that's where most of the audience that already watches the shows that are available in the ITVFest universe already live. An ITVFest TV channel just makes a little too much sense. You can go on to your television right now and watch independent film on television. You cannot watch independent television on television. That is absurd to me. And if I know that we've all done this, we've all gone home and we started flipping through the channels and went, wow, there is nothing good on TV right now. I guarantee you what is sitting in our computers that I wish I could get to you would satisfy that urge to find the next great new television series. We have them, we just need the investment to be able to get them out to the rest of the world.
Jamie, and this might be the last question.
Okay, so the ask of 2.5 million, obviously a fairly big ask.
Yeah.
I see the revenue model. I guess my question is a little bit about demand. When I go home and I turn on the TV, I think there's nothing on, but I also think there's a lot of freaking TV stations.
Right.
So there's a bit of a bet here, right? That what is in your laptop is so good that you're going to turn a bunch of people on. How do you validate that, and what is the revenue model look like over time?
The quality of these shows has already been validated by the north of 50 million views that just 9% of the shows that we have access to have already garnered. We know the value is good. And we know the value is good because if you look at the programs that I left on your seats, you'll see the big names from the industry that showed up to Dover. They took a plane, a train, and an automobile to come to a little town they'd never heard of before in order to see the quality of these artists, and they loved them. The problem is they just don't have enough. So the way that enough bandwidth to handle it. So the way the revenue model would go is, yeah, there is going to be some transition from the current audiences that are scattered around YouTube and Vimeo and Facebook and all these other platforms. But that's where I think it gets exciting because one of our shows has over 36 million minutes already watched. That audience doesn't know about the other 397 ITVFest shows that they can't find on YouTube because the YouTube algorithm doesn't tell them, oh, that was an ITVFest show, so here's the next one. The cross-pollination of the audiences, all of a sudden watching hours upon hours of shows that are all put in the same basket. I mean, this is basically the Netflix pitch, except they've forgotten an entire part of the industry. And I think Netflix today, their stock price just jumped 20% on a $3.4 billion revenue quarter.
That's all the time we've got.
Thank you.
Thanks. Oh.